The Marburg virus originated in 1967 from African green monkeys who were imported from Uganda to three locations: Marburg, Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, and Belgrade, Yugoslavia. In these three locations, 31 patients were infected and 7 of them died. The infection started when scientists performed a necropsy on the monkeys to retrieve kidney cells. Years later, after the Marburg virus outbreak had already been controlled, the Ebola virus emerged, and scientists came to the conclusion that the Ebola virus came from the same family as the Marburg virus. Both of these diseases, still to this day, don't have a vaccine or specific treatment. The Marburg virus is a rare disease, but it has a high mortality rate. Since it broke out in 1967, the virus has killed 470 people, and there have been 571 cases all around the world, which is a mortality rate of 82%. The reason for this virus's incredibly high mortality rate is because it attacked the vascular system in the body. The vascular system is responsible for how blood moves through the body, and failure in the vascular system caused internal bleeding and organ failure. The initial symptoms of the Marburg virus are fever, headaches, diarrhea, malaise, which is when you always feel uncomfortable but don't know why, and muscle aches and pains. Later on in the sickness, the person who was infected loses large amounts of blood through vomit and/or feces and could possibly go into shock. The more fatal symptoms come after at least 3 or 4 days, and people who died from the Marburg virus generally died after 8 or 9 days of contracting it. When an organism first contracts it, the Marburg virus does not spread. Once the infection builds up in the body for a few days, the virus can be spread through the exchange of blood or other bodily fluids of a living or non-living organism that had the virus. However, unlike COVID-19, which surrounds our world today, it does not travel through air. This was a big reason for why more people didn't die from the Marburg virus. If the Marburg virus traveled through air, then there would have been thousands of people that would have suffered from this horrible disease. As of 2020, there is no cure for the Marburg virus. So, if someone was diagnosed with the Marburg virus, they would go into a 21-day isolation from other people. The only thing that could be done to improve the chances of survival is to try to heal as many of the symptoms as possible. However, just taking care of the symptoms is not enough to make the virus go away. Although there is no cure for the Marburg virus, scientists all around the world are working to find one. There are a range of potential treatments being evaluated. Blood treatments, immune therapies, and drug therapies are all being taken into consideration. The Marburg virus and the coronavirus are different in many ways. The Marburg virus attacks the vascular system, while the coronavirus mainly attacks the lungs of the body. Another difference between the two is that the Marburg virus has a way higher mortality rate than the coronavirus does. Marburg has an 82% mortality rate, while the coronavirus only has a 2.2% rate. However, even though the coronavirus has a significantly lower mortality rate, it has killed many more people. In fact, the Marburg virus has only killed less than 500 people, while more than 383,000 people have died from COVID-19. This is due to the incredible speed at which the coronavirus spread throughout the world. The two diseases share a few similarities, though, and those are that they both started from animals and that they have both killed many people and were dangerous to our world and the human civilization. To recap, the Marburg virus was a devastating disease that spread throughout Europe in 1967 and killed 470 people out of the 571 that were infected. It started spreading when a group of scientists decided to perform a necropsy on green African monkeys. After those scientists contracted the virus, it started spreading across Europe and many people died. Although it spread throughout Europe, many people weren't affected. However, it had a mortality rate of 82%, so most of the people who did get infected died. The virus develops over time once it has entered the human's body. First, the symptoms include a fever, severe malaise, muscle pains, and diarrhea. But after 3 or 4 days, people start to lose severe amounts of blood and may go into shock. The symptoms that come later on are the reason for why so many people have died. If the Marburg virus were to re-emerge, it would be a big problem to our world due to its high mortality rate. Also, if the virus were to spread like COVID-19 does, instead of how it transmitted back then it would be an even bigger worry to our world, because the high mortality rate plus the high contagiousness would be devastating.